EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And what that really means is it helps to evoke trauma or traumatic events or cravings, anything that's uncomfortable, and desensitize it. So it works a lot like REM sleep, rapid eye movement, when your brain is helping you to process the unconscious material. So I'm going to teach you a way to soothe yourself at home and when a clinician is not available, when something traumatic happens or something in life that upsets you that you feel like you need EMDR for. Put your hands on your chest and you're going to point your fingers vertically toward your neck, not out toward your arms. And then you're going to connect the butterfly's body, which is your two thumbs, and the butterfly wings are going to be your hands, and you're going to tap on the left and right side of your body to connect the left and right side of your brain. And just pay attention to the sights, sounds, thoughts, anything that happens, kind of like clouds passing you by. And this will help you to soothe yourself and help you to process the current situation.
London is a trigger, unfortunately, because of what happened to my mum and because of what I experienced and what I saw.
And with EMDR, we go back, we look at the past, we look at how your past may be affecting what's happening to you currently. It's changing the way that the experience is stored. And when the brain changes the way it's stored, then again, you feel differently about it. And that tapping is part of the process to allow the brain to start doing that.
Treatment's actually been around since the 80s, but doctors say it is just becoming more and more popular. And hopefully with someone like Prince Harry being so open about the process, we hope more people can find help.
EMDR works by actually relighting up all of these parts of the brain while keeping the hippocampus online so that you can encode those experiences into memory so that they become part of your past and no longer affect your present. This is your limbic system, the part of your brain that responds and lights up when a traumatic event occurs. During a traumatic event, your body releases cortisol, which actually shuts down the way that the hippocampus primarily functions. Your adrenal glands actually produce adrenaline when an event occurs, which lights up the amygdala, this tiny little part inside your brain that controls fear and aggression, which tells you whether you should fight or run away. The amygdala can actually assist in learning. If your hippocampus has been shut down, your brain is going to have a hard time encoding that learning into memory. That's why for some individuals with PTSD, they're not actually having a memory, they're having a reliving because their brain thinks the event is still happening.
How EMDR therapy changed my life. The odd thing is I didn't even know that I had trauma until after I did a lot of my trauma work and was able to recognize all the traumatic things that had taken place in my life. I was in a dark place, having thoughts of suicide, not because I wanted to die, but rather because it was really hard for me to continue living in the state that I was living in. I didn't know anything about EMDR therapy. And I didn't know that I had suffered any trauma. I didn't think that I had suffered any trauma. So I didn't pursue that therapy right away. I didn't have the time or the money or the resources, but eventually I came to the realization that I needed to try and pursue this therapy, even if I didn't know what it was. I thought I was going to deal with the trauma of my illness, of my health situation that had befallen me. However, as my therapist and I started exploring the triggers surrounding my feelings of anger and my feelings of hopelessness, my feelings of helplessness, it actually led back to a lot of trauma between me and my mother. So, in fact, my therapy began working on the issues and the trauma that I had suffered as a child. It became apparent that I had suffered a lot of other trauma. There was the abandonment by my father. There was periods of homelessness as I left home when I was 14. There was an abusive relationship. There was the death of a parent from cancer. There was countless numbers of betrayals from friends, from a coworker, from partnership, as well as the experience with my illness and subsequent disability, not to mention my total loss of financial security that I had suffered as a result. Clearly, I had suffered a lot of trauma, but I didn't know that. I was just a regular person and I didn't even know what the word trauma was. I learned later as a therapist, as a clinician, that trauma can relate to any disturbing event or memory that we've sustained. I worked with my EMDR therapist to resolve those traumas and the issues that had arisen. In that process, I really became liberated. During each and every session, I experienced revelations. Everything just made sense. And sometimes it takes a while to get to that point, but the process of EMDR is so enlightening and so healing, so cathartic, and so complete. There's no homework to do afterwards. The results are immediately incorporated into your life, and your whole life changes as a result. What didn't change is who I am, who I've always been. Except now I've become more able to be who I believe I was always meant to be. I'm able to be truly me, truly myself, to pursue my dreams, to pursue the things I want, free from pain, free from suffering, free from bad memories. It allowed me to heal. It allowed me to recover. It allowed me to restore certain relationships in my life and to come to peace and terms with others, as well as situations in my life, and really bring me a profound sense of peace as well as a solid grounding in who I am.